Even more live shows with Adam Carolla at the end of this month in Bellflower, California. 2 shows at the Stand-Up Comedy Club on May 24th. Then on May 30th, he travels up to Washington for 4 shows at the Tacoma Comedy Club in Tacoma. May 30th and 31st. Then off to Spokane, Washington at the Spokane Comedy Club on June 1st. Tickets for these and more at adamcarolla.com. Rainy days and Mondays, and taxes, and red turn-arrows, and backup beepers, and unrinsed coffee mugs, and thick crust pizza always get him down. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get on. No choice, we're going to mandate. Get it on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for telling friends. Love that about you, right, Mayhem?
Yeah.
All right. So, lots of stuff to think about, to complain about. I'm curious how life works. I don't know how life works at all. Like, I was looking over the weekend, there was a Tiffany Haddish event that I was invited to. And I went and looked at the roster of who's going to be there. Joe Coy, Tiffany's going to be there. You know, I want to see who's going to be there. And each person in the roster, when it explains who they are, it might say this person, and then it might say from this.
Short bio.
Yeah, it's really not even a short bio. It's just like this thing. Like, right. I don't know. I guess if you wrote Ryan Seacrest, you'd write American Idol or something like that. So you go look through the roster of names, you know, and I get to my name, and it says my name, and then next to it, it says Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is a movie from 12 years ago where I had a small part as a donut cop. It's if you went through my IMDb, I don't know how long it would take before you got to Wreck-It Ralph.
Well, I personally am a fan of you as the donut.
I like Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph was a 2-hour record session that I did 13 years ago that I don't even have a DVD of Wreck-It Ralph. No one's ever even mentioned a word to me about Wreck-It Ralph my entire life. I've never been stopped in an airport. Hey, you the donut guy? What year was Wreck-It Ralph? I mean,
sound like 12, yeah.
It had to be over 10 years ago. Why, if you were just advertising Adam Carolla, and people look at the list and go, yeah, it's 2012. It's 13 years old. People look at the list because they go, Adam Carolla? And then, is he a local realtor? And then they would look and they would go, oh, Loveline, oh, the Man Show guy. Like that's why we it's a primer. It's like, oh, here's this guy. And then you go, oh, that guy. I don't feel like Wreck-It Ralph would help at all if you were in the Who's Adam Carolla. But it's also bizarre. I mean, I've done a lot of TV series and starred in movies and things of that nature.
To the deep state media, you're a donut cop.
By the way, we're looking at the picture. I don't even know which donut I am. That's how far
I
off.
was guessing you're the lanky donut, but then I went back and forth. No, you're the gruff, short donut. I don't know, the round one.
Am I the maple bar or the donut?
I don't know, bud. You seem like a Boston cream to me.
So, I don't know gay slang, but I will agree with you on that. So, now, I don't care. I'm just saying, how do we arrive at things in life? Because somebody...
Who threw the party? You know, Tiffany Haddish?
Somebody's in charge. Like, you say to somebody, look, we're going to have a roster, and you're going to put the person's name. And the person's name next to it could be contest winner, or could be DJ, or could be architect. Like, I don't know, but we're going to need just one word next to the person. Radio host or something. Man show. But we're going to need something next to the person's name.
Signifier.
So that person then sets out on this task. Like, you know, the person's probably 22 and has no idea who most of these people are, but they set upon the task of, all right, who's this guy? Tick, 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 tick. How do you get to Wreck-It Ralph with me? How do you even get there? That's a weird.
Some Zoomer kid pulled off your IMDb. Oh, the one movie that she knew.
Is that what it is?
That's
is that what happened?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
So obviously, Loveline, the man show, would probably be the best ways to go. But how would you feel? Would it be better or worse if they said Adam Carolla, the Adam Carolla show?
Yeah, that's what I would think.
I'd be fine.
I get a lot of traction out there.
I don't
But if
have
you don't
any.
know who Adam Carolla is,
Right.
you don't know
Right.
what the Adam Carolla show is.
I don't have qualms other than you pick something that was 13 years old, and now look, the man show's longer than 13 years, so maybe you got a point. But I'm not a part of Wreck-It Ralph. I've just played a donut. If you look at the Wreck-It Ralph roster, I mean, the over/under on my name in terms of cast.
I want to hear your lines, actually. I'm like interested now. I didn't even know you're in that movie. Now I'm going to check it out.
My name must be below. I don't know. The Mason-Dixon line would be the 10th person mentioned in that movie? The 13th?
It looks like 40th. I don't know, bud. Down under Al Bundy. Let's see.
I don't even.
Yeah, they
we're
headshot
looking at a
up there.
list of 35 people
There
who are
we are.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
I don't
behind
even.
Stephanie Scott, the Muppet Girl.
I don't even know how we
But
got to any of these.
above Horatio Sands, all right?
I don't know. All right.
Respectable,
Anyway, I
respectable.
don't. All I'm saying is I have no idea how life works, and do not expect people to ever do a decent job at anything ever, because there's no such thing.
Do his best.
There's no such thing as just saying to somebody, hey, find these names, just put the most popular, recognizable product next to it. All right. But maybe Wreck-It Ralph is more recognizable than many of the other things I've done. Anyway, I want to know, I have a theory, but I want to know. I went to go visit Dawson yesterday and take a look at some construction that was going on his place. I was 30th on the Wreck-It Ralph list.
Nice.
Out of 28 cast members. And I was driving back down Victory, where I used to live out in North Iowa, and I was just driving back, marveling at how much the old neighborhood has changed. And at some point, I passed a strip mall. I stopped at a light, and I was just looking at a strip mall, and there was a store in the strip mall that said Jason's Adult Store. And a couple things. I know your name's Jason, but it's also, I don't, Jason is not a great name for an adult store, but all right, it's his store. But then I'm like, is his mom proud? Like when she drives by the adult store? I don't know, but I don't feel like it's a made up name. It's Jason's, it's his adult store. And then it's happened a lot when you drive around and you pass these places and they say like adult superstore and stuff like that. In a day and age of everyone has an iPhone loaded up with 2 million hours of porn, what is going on at the porn store? Now, I mean, it's not renting a VHS tape. It's not, if you want to, buy a strap-on, that's an Amazon item, right? Like, okay, so but here's what I'm saying.
Look, like Jason, some people like the community.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let me explain something. Whenever somebody says, what's going on? Look, I don't get it. I am telling you that every answer, every question to all of life's riddles will be explained in either gay, black, or metric system.
Buddy.
Those will all be explained. So if you go, who's going to these adult stores? Gay will do that. If there's other confusion, like who leases car rims? Black will take care of that. And then the metric system will fix this one too, because you'll go like, I'm looking at that guy's Speedo on the F1 cars going 320 miles an hour through the streets of Las Vegas. It's like, not 320. He's going 180. You're getting kilometers. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing that gay, black, or metric will not solve.
Yeah, but
there won't be the same question that it's going to solve.
Listen, bud, you're absolutely correct about that, because I worked at a porno store for about 3 days.
Okay. Where at?
Orange County, California.
Best 3 days of your life.
Buddy, listen, let me tell you. It
Orange
was
County.
A nightmare, okay? Because I was training for fights, all right? I was a young guy trying to, be sponsored by Spankies. They had great merch. A guy with one big arm. Yeah, yeah. Really great merch, but it was the shift from 12 to 9 in the morning. That was my shift.
Oh, my God.
I just had to go see the most maniacs of maniacs returning videotapes that were greasy as all get up. Yeah, yeah. And then stocking them back in, looking at these gaping anuses and like loads on faces. It was horrific.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, that was great to look at, but try to go home through traffic and then lay there with gaping in your mind, all right, next to a girl that's snoring all morning. I quit. I gave up. And look, the one thing about it was giant fists. Okay? And I said, what kind of woman puts this in herself? And the guy looked at me cold and was like, women don't buy these.
Oh, you're talking about like a rubberized
fist or a traffic cone?
How much of that? I was all gay, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's it. That'll explain
If
every
the
answer.
owner asks you to jack off for $500 on video, don't do it. And I was like, all right, I won't.
Let's see.
Sorry, I got a little blue there. Sorry, Coach.
It's all right. Well, speaking of that, I got some more clips from the movie Cruising with Al Pacino.
Right into it then. All right.
Well, it's more Jay Mohr, and this time Jay Mohr's talking to his boss.
Beat It Out is a great show, man. I got to tell you, dude.
You can go.
You guys really kill it on that show, man.
You can go over to Substack and check it out. But Jay is funny, and I'm funny with Jay, and that show, Beat It Out, is, if you just want to laugh. I mean, the thing about podcasts is a lot of podcasts are in the comedy department, but they're not doing a lot of comedy. Like,
you're educating the masses, I think, on this show, bud.
Yeah, there's comedy on this show, but there's also serious talk on this show. But Beat It Out is just, you want to laugh. Go check it out. This is Jay. All right, I'm going to play your commanding officer now, all right?
Hey, all right. So,
how's it going at the gay bar?
excuse me. Sorry if my burp smells like buttermilk and Clorox.
Oh, whoa.
It's going. Do you smell pennies? 'Cause I can't get the smell out of my beard and mustache hair.
Yeah.
The smell of pennies.
Remember, you have a girlfriend, a dedicated girlfriend.
Karen Allen.
Karen Allen.
Did you know, undercover, there's guys out there doing things to each other you wouldn't fucking believe.
I don't even want to think about it.
Well, it's all in my report, Jack.
I don't want to. I just want to bust a serial killer.
Well, that's the problem. You start frisking them and they bust.
They bust a nut?
Oh, they come all over the place.
Oh, God.
It looks like ABC foam out of a fucking fire extinguisher.
Maybe we should just find some homeless homo and just put these charges on him.
But that's small potatoes. There are guys out there. These guys are international drug kingpins, and they just happen to like cock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you could catch a lot more than a serial killer.
Oh, I can catch a serial killer. I can get your local ferry.
Ferry?
I'll put them right on the Long Island ferry.
I see.
And
what
I'll
you're
catch
saying.
them on the ferry.
Yeah.
But you don't understand. I got to stay undercover a lot longer. You cannot pull me off of this case.
Okay, but what's the thing with the light blue bandana you have hanging out your
light
pants?
blue bandana, I learned from my friend Powers Booth, means if you wear it in your back left pocket, it means you want to suck somebody's cock. If you wear it in your back right pocket, it means your cock sucked. If you wear a yellow bandana in your back left pocket, it means you like to give golden showers. If you wear the yellow bandana in your back right pocket, it means you like to get golden showers.
My pen's out of
Did
ink.
you have any idea what it's like to be in a blow bang?
A what?
A blow bang, Daddy.
Powers Booth sounds like a place you'd go to beat off watching gay porn.
Not right away, it wasn't. It wasn't that place right away. It became a place I went to beat off.
Anyway, I called you in my office just to talk about overtime. I don't know how we got into
I know
this.
I put in for 1,100 hours of overtime last week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I need more than that.
Yeah, well, we can't
I'm real close.
We can't have a cop getting paid more than the mayor.
Well, I did. In all fairness, to quote Babe Ruth, I did a much better job than he did last year.
Okay.
Have you ever had somebody kiss you right on your whale eye?
Whale eye?
Whale eye. That's what they call asshole out there. You cannot pull me off of this case. I'm close.
I was an instructor at the academy, and I've never heard of anything you're talking about.
There's a whole world out there you don't know about.
This is not...
You don't know nothing because you never been fucked in your ass.
This is not official police.
Have you ever been fish hooked? Have you ever had a Dominican face hat or a three-fingered Mexican oil job? Because I have. You will not pull me off of this case.
What was the Dominican face?
Yeah, you need a license to do that one, and they only sell them at the seaport.
All right. We're not going to do any better than the Great Joe. All right. Now, listen.
Jay was just rolling, bud.
You can go to adamcarolla.substack.com and check it out. Now, listen. Here's why I get credit. What Jay Mohr did there with Al Pacino from Cruising, that's genius because he does it. He's the star of the show. But it's this guy right here who thought, Jay's coming in. I love that Al Pacino movie, Cruising. We should tell Jay to do Al Pacino in Cruising. So that's me, the maestro. You understand?
Yeah, totally, yeah.
I facilitate the comedy. All right, so you can check that out. Also, something. So it's a small matter, but I think it's an important matter. A coaster. There's all different kinds of coasters. There's like cork coasters, there's leather coasters, there's ceramic coasters. I'm going to work this out, but a coaster, I want to make it illegal to sell a coaster that is under 4 ounces.
All right. You want a regulated
I want
coaster size?
I want regulate coaster size.
Fly around.
Because you put the frosty mug down on it, then at some point you pick up the mug and the coaster sticks to the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't stick good enough for you to take a sip and put it back down. It sticks good enough for you to lift it up, turn it at an angle, notice it's on there, and then have it fall and roll across the restaurant. Or wherever you're at. Coasters, I have these coasters here, they're too light. They get stuck, and then you pick them up,
Listen,
and then they fall, and they make a scene.
I've done it myself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get big coaster on the line. Now, you get the ceramic ones, you're fine. Maybe shipping's a little more, but they got to be at least 4 ounces. Otherwise, they have to have a little bit of heft in order to stay on the table.
You always have these grandiose problems.
Yeah, these are first world problems. All right. Then there's this, which now I was told the other day by a doctor to try some niacin.
Oh, yeah.
And I had this recollection of like what I thought was ODing on niacin, the supplement, when I was in high school.
You got a piss test coming up?
No, is that what they do?
Yeah, you eat a bunch of that, I think, flush it out, yeah.
So I said, no, I'm not going to OD on anymore, but I'll try some niacin. I got 500 milligrams of niacin. The other day I was in here just going about my business on the weekend, and I popped one. I started walking around, and about 30 minutes in, I realized I was turning beet red, and it wasn't just my face. It was my hands, my chest, my knees, my whole body turned red.
Vasodilator.
And then I felt like I was cooking from the inside out.
Yeah.
And then I thought, am I having a reaction to niacin, or does everybody across the board have this reaction to niacin in that I can't take a 500 milligram pill? Like, I would have to say, I could take it, but I'll have to go sit down. Like,
I think you're supposed to eat something with it so it cuts
Oh, is that what it was?
I think you're supposed, if you eat it just straight up, just absorbs into the bloodstream, there you go. You're blowing up.
I didn't eat anything.
No.
So I need to wash it down with something.
Some strategy.
Okay. All right.
Because if not, your blood is going to boil. Your blood, it comes to the surface.
Yes.
The capillaries all blow up.
It was crazy, the reaction I had. So, all right. Get that going. Eat something with it is what you're saying.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Probably eat something with all supplements.
Pretty much.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
All right. Then this. It's funny. I was... so now there's the whole Joe Biden thing. I talked to Dr. Drew, prostate, this and that. Dr. Drew has some prostate experience.
Yeah.
So what Drew said was, okay, there's no way he wasn't diagnosed with this several years ago. Okay, so Drew said between 2 and 5 years ago, you would have had to be diagnosed because you're getting physicals and annuals and you're the most diagnosed person on the planet. So he knew he had it. And then I said, well, what is the treatment? Was he undergoing treatment? And he said, yeah, I'm sure he was undergoing treatment. Now, they didn't want to tell you about it, but he was undergoing treatment, which would, if you think about it, calling a cap on the news day at like 4 o'clock, saying you can't get to places before 10 in the morning, cutting trips short and stuff like that, not being around for several days, lots of vacation time at the beach and stuff like that. You go, oh, yeah, that sounds like someone is undergoing some treatment. And then I talked to Drew, and he said, well, the treatment has some side effects, and the side effects are sort of the Parkinsonian stuff and the stumbling with the walking.
You get worn out, yeah.
Yeah, and the way you talk, and early on, what you saw with Biden may have been side effects from the treatment, and it would kind of explain, I guess, some good days and some real bad days.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And so Drew said this was definitely diagnosed. They were definitely being treated, and what you're seeing is partially a side effect to the treatment. So just so you want to know, just because I asked Dr. Drew about an hour ago on the phone. All right. Now, on the Joe Biden thing, something struck me, which is the New York Times and a few others. So they're doing this whole thing where Jake Tapper's doing the White House wasn't straight with us, except for the White House isn't going to be straight with you. Like, okay, I'll put it to you this way, Jake Tapper. You did 4 years on Russian collusion. The White House never said, you got us. They said, you're wrong. So why'd you do 4 years on Russian collusion without the White House? The White House told you this wasn't happening and didn't exist and was a lie. So are you just going to the White House for information? You didn't do that with Trump. You did 4 years on Russian collusion and the White House said no. So when the White House says something, you don't take them at their word. That's why you're a reporter. That's what reporters do. The White House says this, and then you go investigate.
He seemed super decrepit on the way in. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I didn't need Dr. Drew to tell me that.
I didn't need anybody to tell me that. I got film of it.
Yeah.
But there was a cover-up, and when they go back and look at the headlines, you can see there's a cover-up. These people act like they weren't saying this in print and on film for the last 5 years. But there's a New York Times one. The New York Times is perfect. Now, here's the thing. The New York Times is going to cover for Biden because the New York Times would prefer that Joe Biden be the president. By the way, who did the New York Times endorse as a candidate? I have no idea why. If I ran a newspaper and they said to us, all right, we got a couple months to the election. We got to give the candidate we endorse. I'd go, no, we're not going to do that. And they'd go, why not? I'd go, because later on, we're going to try to write articles and expect people to believe those articles, but it's all in support of the person we endorse. And then people aren't going to believe us. They're going to think we're fucking liars.
Yeah.
All right. So why do the endorsement? New York Times endorses this, and the headline reads, memory loss requires careful diagnosis, scientists say. By the way, didn't we just get fucked by the scientists with COVID? Remember New York Times with all the scientists talk? A federal investigator said that President Biden had poor memory and diminished faculties. But, and by the way, all right, but such a diagnosis would require close medical assessment, experts say. All right, you guys just lied about COVID with the experts say and the scientists say. Number one. Number two, New York Times. Experts say it would take close medical assessment. When my sister would go visit my dad, when my dad was 90, I'd go, hey, Lauren, how'd the visit go? She'd go, he doesn't remember. He's fading. His memory shot. He can't remember the grandkids. Whatever. I wouldn't go, liar! Why isn't there a scientist? No. You sit in a room with somebody for 4 hours and you ask them a battery of questions and they go, yeah, I don't know. What date did my kid die, or what date was I inaugurated, or what date did the Lusitania sink, or whatever. Yes, we're all experts. You sit in a room in front of anyone talk to their elderly parents? Yeah, we're experts.
I know.
We're all fucking experts, New York Times, but you're lying. And that's what you do, but you hide behind the experts and the scientists, just like you duped us with COVID. You did the exact same thing with the expert and the scientists, and we're going to need to. AP writes verbal gaffe or sign of trouble. Well, we don't know. Man can't think, can't speak, but we don't know. Could just be a gaffe. Mixing up names like Biden and Trump. This is a good one, AP. AP, you're just including. We're talking about Biden. We're not talking about Trump, but now you included Trump. Have this in common. All right. So what AP's angle is, we're gonna somehow fold Trump into this mix with the old man who can't speak. And then the Washington Post writes how your memory really works and how it changes as you age. Yeah, it gets worse as you age, and then sometimes you get dementia and it gets shot completely. Memory lapses happen at every age. Okay, all right, so we're all in great shape here. But recent missteps by Biden and Trump, we're not talking about Trump, we're talking about Biden, have sparked questions about memory and aging. So it's all a little shell game, very interesting, just shaving tents. You know exactly how they work. Anyway, we don't need to listen to what the New York Times has to say about Biden. We never did. They endorsed Biden, and now they're running cover for Biden. So just understand where you're getting this information.
So what do? We just ignore New York Times from now on.
Okay, let me just say everything.
All right.
I became an expert on COVID not because I got a degree. I knew every kid in my neighborhood was fine from COVID, including my own kids. And once I knew every kid in my neighborhood, my kids and all their friends were fine with COVID, then I knew it didn't affect kids. I didn't have to talk to experts.
They got it.
I knew what it was.
Or it went away, or you mean
they either got it or they didn't, or who cared? They're fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't need to be an expert when I'm watching Joe Biden at the Juneteenth celebration, standing next to dudes with beards and dresses who are all rocking out to Shaka Khan, and he's given some sort of Vietnam 500-yard stare onto the horizon. I don't need an expert to tell me what's going on here. Just like you don't need an expert if you, let's just say your Uber driver's shit-faced. Do you need an expert to decipher that? What do we need the expert for is what I'm saying. This guy sat down, interviewed Biden for 5 hours, and he got a decrepit old guy.
Yeah.
He's an expert now. You would be an expert too. Okay, if I sat down and said, I'm going to talk to Ben Shapiro for an hour, when I was done, I'd go, well, that guy's fast. And that guy's got a hell of a vocabulary, and he thinks on his feet. And then if I sat down with Mark Garagos, I'd go, that guy's fart. That guy's fast. He's lucid.
Yeah.
He's smart. He's fart. He's fast and smart. He's fart. And I'd go, that guy's sharp. And I'd like him to represent me in a court of law. And then if I sat down with my dad a year before he died, I'd go, I don't think so. Now, am I an expert, or do I just could sit? This whole, you're not an expert, this is how they fucking get away with what they get away with. Because then they hire their experts. Oh, you're not an expert. You don't know that tobacco's addicting and nicotine's addicting. We have our R.J. Reynolds as their own experts. Well, listen to that. Okay, that's what's going on, fucking idiots. All right. Know what I like? You need to understand this. I was watching the NASCAR pit crew competition.
Sick.
The difference between first place, like the guys, first off, they just recruit athletes. They recruit football players out of college now. No more fat, good old boys.
Nope.
No, they're getting athletes, which makes sense. And it's also what happens when you just stand back and let nature take its course. You start realizing dudes going over a wall with a jack and handling a 50-pound impact driver, the air hose on it, and you see what an athlete does working out, playing football, and that kind of stuff, you go, oh, yeah, give me one of those guys. So that's where it'll go. They all recruit now. The difference between first place and last, 15th place, 1 second. 1 second, you're either up on the podium hosting the Golden Lug Nut, or you're 15th place. You're dead last. That's just 1 second.
Amazing.
Yeah, people see. I turn to people like all, but it's that way with music. It's that way with comedy. It's that way with everything. It's like it's not much. There are plenty of funny dudes. There are plenty of people who can play the guitar. There are plenty of people who could play good high school baseball, but they're not getting to the show. It's just that it's milliseconds.
Yep,
it's
small
tenths.
percentages.
It's
You're right.
very
Yep.
small.
Very important in the fight sports.
Very small percentages. There's plenty of tough dudes, plenty of good athletes, plenty of pit crews, plenty of everything. It's just little bits.
It's
And
an orchestra too. Those guys are all working together. Everybody got to hit their mark.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it went from, I mean, F1 they do 4 tires in like 1.4 seconds or something.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't do 4 tires in 5 seconds. They do 4 tires in like under 2. It's all 4.
It's pretty amazing.
But you know what thing that's always amazing is circling back to Wreck-It Ralph. Can you imagine just under 2 seconds to do all 4 tires on your car, and now you're going 200 miles an hour in your car? Wouldn't there be a little thing in the back of your head going, I wonder if that lug nut got, like, Bert's kind of an idiot, or I caught him smoking weed the other night, like out by the camper. Like,
Yeah.
you know how many times my wheel would fall off in life if I tried this thing? Almost every time. I had the funniest thing once. I did a race once, and I was coming around the corner. I did a couple of laps. And then at one point, I came around the corner, and right in the middle of the road was a giant tire pressure checker, like a professional grade race car style, not the cheap plastic little ones with the dog dick in it, but I'm talking about a big dial and a long hose, like a $50 nice pressure checker. And I came around this corner at Laguna Seca, and I saw it. Right in the middle of the racetrack. And I thought, what kind of fuck up left a tire pressure checker in the middle of the... And then I started thinking about it. Now I'm driving in this race, and I'm like, it must have checked the tire and like left it in the rim or something. And then it took a lap and it shot out. And it just landed smack dab in the middle. It was probably dangerous the way it landed. And I was like, what kind of fuck up? And then I was like, I did another lap, and I saw it kept getting hit and like knocked around and crushed and everything. And I was like, well, I remember getting back to the pits, and I remember thinking to myself, there's somebody here who's a bigger fuck up than we are, because we do that kind of dumb shit.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me you left it on the roof when you were getting in.
No, I said somebody's a bigger fuck up than we are, because they left their fucking tire checker right in someone's rim or something. And then at some point, my guy Les goes, "Where is my tire checker?" And I go, "What?" He checked it. He put on the back of the car where the wing was.
Yeah.
And the thing sloshed around the wing. And then I went around that corner and got a little bit loose on lap number 3, and the thing flew off. It was always our car. I remember thinking, we're the only real fuck-ups at this whole track. Everyone else knows what they're doing, but then there's us. But that's not mine. Oh, yes, it is.
The Bad News Bears of Laguna Seca.
Yes, it was. All right. We're going to take ourselves a break. Jay, Chandrasekhar is going to come join us. You know him. from everything. I mean, Super Troopers probably the most, but tons of movies, man. Beer Fest, Club Dread, and all that. Super Troopers 2. Lots of stuff to talk to Jay about. We'll do that right after this. Caldera Labs. Guys, let's be honest. We'd like to look a little bit younger, maybe feel a little bit more confident when we look in the mirror. That's exactly what Caldera Lab is here for. Their high-performance skincare is designed specifically for men. Simple, effective, and backed by science. With products like the Good, an award-winning serum to help protect your skin from environmental stressors, and the eye serum to help reduce the appearance of tired, dark circles, and puffiness. This stuff works. You really can't go wrong. They have cutting-edge formulas. They are plastic neutral. They are certified cruelty-free. Am I right, Dawson?
Whether you're starting fresh or upgrading your routine, Caldera Lab makes skincare simple and effective. Don't settle for drugstore junk or steal your partner's products. Elevate your routine with skincare made for you. Head to calderalab.com/Adam and use code Adam at checkout for 20% off your first order.
Home title lock. Well, if you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. When's the last time you checked on your home title? That's the legal proof you own your house. If you're like me, the answer is never. The problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is the target. I was displaced from my home during the fires, still am, over here in Southern California. And scammers can take advantage of people in that position to steal their titles. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. You won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. That's why you need to stop what you're doing right now and find out today if you've already been a victim. Am I right, Dawson?
Use promo code Adam at HometitleLock.com to make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes. And if fraud should happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Go to HometitleLock.com now. Use promo code Adam. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code Adam.
It's time for Nicaraguan Name That Movie with Adam's buddy Oswaldo. See if you can guess which movie this famous line is from.
Bye bye, have a fine adorning the castle.
If you said The Princess Bride,
Bye-bye, boy.
Have fun storming the castle.
you're correct. Now, back to the show.
Jay, good to see you as always.
How are you, pal?
I was thinking about you today, and I thought I like my little trivia, my bits and pieces, but they made a movie about you starring Anthony Hopkins called The World's Fastest Indian.
They did? Is that the name of it?
No, it's a movie about an Indian motorcycle, but you have great foot speed.
You know, that's why I come on this show, because you bring up that incredibly awesome fact about me.
Gift.
Yes.
Can I say this, and I mean it in all sincerity? I believe that the reason we respond to certain things the way we respond to in society, like young boys are obsessed with foot speed.
Yeah.
My son, when he was 8 or 9, would be like, this guy in my class, he's the fastest. Like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, later on in life, you start talking about money and homes and things like that, or travel or accomplishments, but it's all how fast you are from the time you start school to like the ninth grade. It's all just who's the fastest, right?
Foot speed made me cool.
Yes.
And I was coming into it like, I mean, when you watch Animal House, the three nerds who were trying to pledge Delta, one of
Right.
them's named Jugdish.
Right.
Like, I'm coming into this situation, there's a guy named Jugdish, and I'm going to be Jugdish, right?
Yeah.
But I happen to be the fastest dude in the class, in the whole school, in both grade school and high school. And people are like, this guy's cool.
Yeah, well, but let's try to distill down. Now, first off, you're Indian.
Yeah.
And you grow up in a place. We're about the same age. Oh, we had white people. We have different categories for all the groups. You know what I mean? We know what the Mexicans are. We understand the blacks. You know. We also have folks like Dr. J. That guy's the coolest guy on the planet.
Not a real doctor.
Not even a physician, but why wouldn't you want to be like that guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like dudes, okay? We had Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jose Feliciano. We got some Mexicans. We understand Asians. Indians were just like, we throw our hands up. Like, we want to make fun, but we don't know where to start. We're not exactly sure what the culture is. No one's tried the food. We had a guy named Ayaz Sheikh. And we just thought he was weird. That's all we had.
Yeah.
We couldn't hang anything on. They're not fat. They're not anything enough. They don't run Hollywood. You know, like we don't know what to do with them. But weird, except for not with the foot speed. Right?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I really took that foot speed and turned it into something. I think my whole career started there and ended up here.
Did anyone ever put a clock on your 40?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's the world's fastest Indian.
It had to be.
It
has to be, right? I mean, the coach, I was on the football team for a week in high school. And, you know, because I played a lot of like Smear the Queer and whatever, all these football games.
Yeah.
And I was the fastest guy in the neighborhood. So I'm like, I'm going to be the next Walter Payton. There's not an Indian running back in the NFL. I'm going to be the first guy.
No, they're all cornerbacks.
Yeah, right. So I
switch them as soon as they make the show.
I end up being the fastest guy on the football team in high school, and the coach is like, I got a guy. And after a week of like just getting creamed and 2-a-days, I'm like, I'm out.
2 days.
I'm out.
Tough.
I'm out.
Yeah.
And so I joined the golf team.
But let me circle back to why. You know, like, so you run against another guy. By the way, I'm not fast. I wish I was fast. I did play football. I played a lot of football. Like, I really wanted that foot speed. Like, could have got to
What
the
position?
next level. I played linebacker.
Yeah.
And I ran a 4.9, which is probably more like a 5.
Yeah.
And that's just not fast enough. I was quick, and super good, but I needed the foot speed. It was never there. Nothing you can do about it. Not going to show up.
Can't teach it.
Can't teach it. So now we're getting back to this. What is so important about, you know, why is my son coming home and bragging to me about people in his class that are fast, like 9-year-olds? And then I realized it's God-given. It's touched by God. See, we kind of, like when you see a woman, and the woman's a slender woman with a big rack, you go, oh man, how often you don't see that often. And then you go, why are we attracted to it? Like, why are we talking about? What are we thinking about? Touched by God.
Touched by God.
Like when you see a beautiful woman whose face is just beautiful, angular, symmetrical, where'd you get those huge eyes and the pouty lips and everything? What are we attracted to? We're attracted to touched by God. And for me, when I see a guy with amazing calves, I'm like, oh, God loves you. God loves you.
Yeah, I mean,
he gave you those calves.
And it changes your life. Like, I was the first guy picked. When the two captains would pick, I was the first guy picked.
And it's also, it's a world, it's not where there's not other people who can run. You just are a few tenths faster.
Yeah, you want the fastest guy or you want that second fastest guy?
Yeah, I think it's the touch by God part because it's like you didn't do anything to earn your speed. And the slender chick with the big rack didn't do anything either. And Angelina Jolie didn't do anything. Touched.
Yeah.
Touched by God.
And it makes you confident. I used to walk around saying, I'm the fastest guy you've ever met. And I could back it up.
You'd go do some street racing, right?
Oh, yeah. I'd run barefoot. I'd run in gym shoes. Didn't matter.
You just take it outside.
You weren't going to beat me.
Amazing.
So this guy's going to the Olympics? I thought he was a comedian.
I've slowed a little.
Well, you made the right choice. I just remember that all it takes is something like that to overcome whatever and to be popular and to get along in junior high and high school. I don't know how many Indian kids there were in your junior high and your high school.
0 in my grade school and 0 in my high school.
Where was that?
Chicago suburbs, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. No, I believe it, yeah.
And the foot thing, minus being the fastest kid in your high school, now you're just left with Indian guy.
Yeah, like, when I was young, when we'd play cowboy and Indians, I was always the Indian. And I could never make an argument why I should be the cowboy.
There's no good argument for you to be a cowboy.
And, what can I say? And, there's this thing that you do when you play this game. You go this, wah, 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 right? So I was doing that, and my grandmother's like, stop it right now. She's like, that's what you do at a funeral when an Indian dies in India.
In India.
I didn't know that.
Did not
There was
know
a lot
that
of confusion.
A lot of confusion. But you overcame.
Yeah.
But where was the sense of humor back then? Was it in full flight?
Yes. I think Indians, because the British were there for 250 years, they're very sophisticated from a comedic standpoint. Like my mom read all these P.G. Wodehouse books, which are like these British comedy books. And I think that it's just a matter of being nimble with the language from a long time ago.
No, I think Indian people think real quick. I mean, in my experience, it's a lot of, it makes sense to me because down there in Southeast Asia, and then everybody's on top of everybody. It's an advanced culture. Everybody got to think fast,
Yeah, it's competitive. It's competitive to make your way in India, that's for sure.
Well, Indians have all the components of comedy, but then seem to steer it towards something else, not toward comedy.
Right, because, when I was coming up and thought, I'll try to be a comic, when I looked at the movie screens, there were 2 Indians, there were 3, right? One was Sir Ben Kingsley. Okay, fine. They weren't going to make a Gandhi 2, though, right? I mean, the way that ended.
Right.
And then the other guy was Fisher Stevens, who was a white guy in brownface. And the other guy
Talking about Short Circuit 2?
Short Circuit 2.
Yeah.
My dad said, he goes, you have to see Short Circuit 2. And I said, why? He goes, there's an Indian in it. I'm like, Dad's a white guy in blackface.
That's messed up.
And he goes, well, it's as close as we'll get.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you watch me, pal.
Yeah.
You watch me.
Oh, that's awesome.
The other guy was Peter Sellers. And he was
That's right.
in a great movie called The Party. And he did a great job being an Indian.
Birdie Num Num.
Yeah. He was great in it, right? But So I was looking at it going, man, they don't even, if they want an Indian, they wouldn't even use me.
Right.
So the only way I'm going to get in this business is if I write my own script, direct it, and cast myself into the middle of the movie.
That's great.
I was speaking about this the other day to somebody, and I do bring it up all the time. I have the same thing, minus the foot speed and the Indian heritage, but my parents didn't like me. And so I was like, who's ever going to put you in a movie or who's ever going to let you be in a TV show? Like, I was doing a math. Your own parents, they're lukewarm. They're not fans. So I was like, well, you're not going to get in a movie. But if you write your own TV series and you write your own movie, then you can star in your own TV series. But you're not going to pass any process where you audition.
No way.
It's not going to work. So it actually... But I've had roommates whose parents love them. And they were under the illusion that Hollywood would love them just as much as their mom did. But it turned out they were wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so maybe it's an advantage going, you're going to have to do it for yourself.
It's like there are great looking people who fit the casting roles,
Right.
And those people, sometimes they get cast and they're in things. But then they kind of disappear because they don't know how to make it themselves. And then the new good-looking person comes in and they get the job.
It's like being the hot blonde in high school. You can coast for a while.
Yeah.
But eventually, That's why
right.
I always describe California as that way. Hot blonde from high school, but just turned 50.
Yeah.
And phone ain't ringing anymore, and she don't have any skills. Like she needed to pick up a skill along the way instead of just dating and having a good
That's
time,
right.
you know?
That's right.
And so there is like I was thinking about, you know, you're watching P. Diddy and Cassie and all that kind of stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, she's super hot. And she got plucked up when she was 19 by P. Diddy. And the next thing you know, she's getting drugged up at a party and getting whizzed on. You know what I'm saying? But it's because she's hot.
Yeah.
Like this thing that you wish for, watch out.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't always have a great ending.
That's
you know,
right.
it's like if she was a 5.5, do not think P. Diddy would be helping her career out, and then she wouldn't be at any freak-offs either.
Yeah, none of that would have happened.
Right.
Still, you know, you could be good looking and maybe just make better choices.
It's true, but thank God I'm ugly and slow.
Me too. God, I'm ugly and fast. That's fine. But yes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it's not, and also it doesn't, you know, it's like when they talk about anybody, whoever employs a handicapped guy, they'll always go, that guy's the hardest working. He shows up there, or at least he says something. Yeah, he's overcompensating for being in a wheelchair. You know, like it takes him 10 minutes to get out of his van, so he shows up a half hour early every day, and then it's 20 minutes early when he comes rolling in, right? So that guy is compensating. There was a kickboxer named Superfoot.
Oh, yeah.
Many years ago. You know the guy?
Yeah, I know this story, yeah.
He had his foot damaged where they like stepped on a landmine in Vietnam or something. So he had to kick with his other leg and overcompensated, like became a champion with his bad.
Oh, but this is a rabbit hole you're going down. Baxter Humby had one arm and did Muay Thai fights with elbows.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot out there. Guys are overcompensating.
Bill Superfoot Wallace. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like you got dealt this hand, and now you're overcompensating for this stuff, and it's why you're out working now, you know, while you're doing VouchVault, the app, by the way, doing the crowdfunding campaign, which we're going to talk about. There he is, Superfoot, Bill Superfoot Wallace.
We had a poster at my gym.
What's the other foot? Is the other foot damaged, or is that's the damaged foot?
I don't know if it's his front. His front foot doesn't look to be in great shape, but it could just be the photograph. But his foot was damaged, and he somehow overcompensated and I don't know what the full story was, and I don't know how much of it is lore. But the point is you get dealt a hand, you overcompensate, you go another direction, and when you run into all the super good-looking, popular people you went to high school with 25 years later, a lot of the super good-looking people aren't up to that much because they didn't have the eye of the tiger. They just sort of were popular.
They didn't need to.
They didn't need to.
You know, there wasn't a white guy in brownface playing the part they should have gotten.
Fisher Stevens is my... Like when I talk to people and I explain that, look, you know, when people go, guys, why the guy cheat? He had a beautiful wife, beautiful children. I go, because that guy's like strange pussy.
Yeah.
You know, and they go, that guy had it all. Had his wife's beautiful. She's beautiful. I know, but that's what guys do. And then people go, yeah, but women look at it like through their lens. Like, you have a loving woman. She's very attractive. Why are you... I'm going, you don't get it. That has nothing to do with her. That's what guys do. Fisher Stevens was married to Michelle Pfeiffer. Yeah.
Can you believe
he
that?
was married to Michelle Pfeiffer, and he cheated.
Bless
he cheated on Michelle Pfeiffer.
Incredible.
The Indian guy.
Incredible.
From Hot Wire 3 or whatever.
You know what?
Short Circuit 3. That guy marries Michelle Pfeiffer in her prime. And he's a nice guy. I've interviewed him on the show and stuff, but he felt the need to be with another woman. So the story goes.
That guy.
That guy.
Do you know?
So what I'm saying to women is everybody's capable of it. And what I'm saying, if he can cheat on her, then anyone can cheat on it. You know, Bill Clinton can cheat on Hillary. if he can cheat on her.
Yeah.
So be prepared, ladies.
Do you know what Fisher Stevens' real name? That's a stage name, Fisher Stevens.
Oh, really?
His real name is Stephen Fisher.
I think I heard that.
Can you believe that he's like, this is going to do it? This is going to do it.
You know,
I kind of did in a way.
Maybe it worked.
For like 2 summers in the 80s.
I was at the Acme Theater with a Doug Jackson, who later became Jackson Douglas. Jackson Douglas. Yes. And I'll figure out who he married. It'll take a second. I had a Doug Jackson who became a Jackson Douglas. So it's happened.
Okay.
It can
Sounds
happen.
like an elder statesman now.
Yeah, he, God. He married, what's her name from Marvelous Miss Maisel, the agent. From the Family Guy. I'll think of her name. That's stupid. The agent from the Marvelous Miss Maisel.
I've only saw 2 of them, but I
only saw 2.
haven't seen the agent. It's a good show. Good show.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
When I say her name, you'll know. I'm having a Joe Biden moment. We'll figure it out.
It'll cover up.
Who was in Marvelous Miss Maisel? And then it's what's her name? And she's all over the Family Guy. So then you'll put it up there in a second. Alex Borstein, right? Who I knew from the Acme was a bitch to me back in the day.
Oh, that's why you're stuck on this.
I like Alex Borstein, but she yelled at me in my own kitchen when I was throwing a party once.
For what?
I don't know. I've had a few run-ins with people, and I've had to explain to them. I had a bar that somebody yelled at me at, and I had a kitchen that she yelled at me at. And at some point I went, it's my fucking kitchen and my party, and you're standing in it, so shut the fuck up. Like I just told her to shut up. I don't know what she was complaining about.
Yeah.
Something. She was, she's a ball buster. But she married Doug Jackson, who became Jackson Douglas. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
And Jackson Douglas is an actor?
Yeah. He did some stuff and does some stuff. Maybe did a little TV directing like you.
Yeah, great.
How much TV directing are you doing?
I've done over 150 episodes of television I've directed.
Wow.
Yeah. Then they don't bring you a cake. They don't bring you anything. They just get back out there. Their TV business has slowed dramatically. Mm-hmm. Like there's almost so little of these comedies being made now. So I still do a few a year, but what I'm about to do is go make a new. It's not announced yet, but I'm making a new film, and so I'm trying to. Actually, this is what happened. I'm trying to get into shape for this new film, which I'll come back and tell you what it is. And so I'm trying to, and I need some. The story is that I accidentally put on my wife's underwear. Okay, and so I buy 10 black boxer brief underwear so I can work out.
Right.
And they show up and I put them on and I'm like, my wife, whenever I wear new underwear, she's always like, hey, she acts like it's going to turn into sex, but that's like the most I get out of it. Hey, look at the new underwear.
Yeah.
This time I'm walking around in this underwear and she goes, why are you wearing my panties? And I'm like, I'm not. What do you? And she goes, yeah, you are. And I'm like, I'm not. They're a little short. Mm-hmm. And she goes, is there a cotton panel? And I'm like, there is.
Panel.
And she goes, is there a hole to take a pee in? And I'm like, there isn't. But I thought they were European. They're medium size. They're my size. They showed up. And she goes, yeah, I ordered the wrong size and I was going to return them, but now I can't. Because you're wearing them. And I'm like, now what do I? So I kept them.
They smell like curry. What are you going to do with them now?
Yeah, they smell like curry.
I imagine your nutsack smells like curry.
Well, absolutely.
I like to think.
Absolutely.
So now that inspires a movie.
Well, it's another. I'm trying to make a movie and be. I'm trying to bring back the theatrical comedy. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to do it by saying it over and over again.
The theatrical comedy. People, instead of going to see Tom Cruise, we could go see Ghostbusters. Is that what kind of you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, we should be in theaters, smoking weed and watching great movies, comedy movies again, and not. I get that there's a place for these streaming, straight to video kind of things. I get it. But, there's a theatrical comedy element that is valuable.
Let's break down the game film a little bit here. going and seeing an action movie or an action thriller it's great in a group. I mean, I think the communal thing is always a good thing, whatever that is. But kind of unnecessary with thrills and action and suspense because you're sort of just watching it on your own. Comedy is a communal, like you go to a comedy club and you go to a comedy club and the place is full and sold out and it's rocking and there's an energy to everybody laughing. Now, if I said we're going to go to a comedy club and there was 2 people in the audience, the energy would be completely and utterly different. And if I said we're going to a sold-out comedy club, but I'd like to take the first 20 minutes and share a very serious poem with you guys, it would turn into a completely different thing. Now, I would argue that if I was going to read a serious poem for 20 minutes, I don't think I would need the crowd.
No.
Or I wouldn't need to be full, but the energy and the rock and roll. So when you watch, like I went and watched a movie I did with Jimmy and a bunch of guys a million years ago called Windy City Heat. And they...
That's a great film.
I hadn't seen that movie in years and years. And it was like the 20th anniversary of Windy City Heat. So they invited... Jimmy got a place in Westwood. He got the Bruin Theater, invited the cast and the friends and the family. I took my kid who's 18, never seen Windy City Heat. I'm in it and I was a part of it, but it's not something that I think of when people go, what movies have you done? I never bring it up. It's not my movie. I should. People like it, but I don't think of it that way. But anyway... And I watched that movie with 300 people, and it was raucous, and it was fun, and it was like communal, and it was visceral, and people were just laughing, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a much better experience than just watching this at home.
Yeah, and like Silicon Valley basically said, hey, we're going to disrupt everything. We're going to disrupt music. We're going to disrupt movies. But these situations are not better, right? The movie situation is not better. Is it more convenient to sit on your couch and watch a movie? Yeah, I get it. You're also looking at your phone. You're also walking in and out of the room.
Yeah.
There is a value to some of the great things we used to have, and this is not it's not like I'm, it's just going to the movies again. Like
I agree. Look, the problem is the pause option.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at home, you just go, I'll just pause it, and then you go. Look, I remember I went to church on Sunday. And it's like, I don't know, hour and 10 minutes. And my phone was just sitting next to me. I shut the phone off. I just shut it off before I came in. And then like at some point, I was like, what time is it? Like, how far into this are we? Because I don't really have a gauge. You guys, they were singing. Now this guy's talking. I don't know where I'm at. And so I remember thinking, well, I'll just turn my phone on, just see what time it is. And then I went, no, don't do it. Don't touch your phone. Just sit there. And then I went, well, I just turn it on, see what time it is, and I'll just shut it off. And I was like, don't touch the fucking phone. I was like having this internal monologue. I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm 40 minutes in or I'm 20 minutes in because this is a rhythm that I'm not used to. I'm like, don't touch your phone. That's the beauty of the theater. You can't do it. You're there. You can't pause it. You can't do it. And even though you think it's great, it's not. It's literally, you are... Also, there's a delayed gratification that you need that's part of the foreplay. Like when you go, I'm going to see this movie tonight. And then you go, I got to buy tickets online.
Yeah.
And then we got to find a place to park near the theater. It's all foreplay. You don't really know it, but it's kind of foreplay. And then you sit down and they run the trailers and stuff or whatever. It's all part of the foreplay.
Yeah. And now they've got cocktails at these places. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
So you're going to get jacked and wear women's underwear?
Yeah, how'd that go?
Well, I'll tell you, man, I could have, since I couldn't return them, and I'm not, I wouldn't call myself cheap, but I must be. I'm going to wear them. I'm going to wear them out. I'm going to finish them up, and that's the game.
I could use an absorbent panel.
The cotton panel.
What's wrong with the panel?
It's not bad.
Break them out. We'll do a YouTube review.
It's not bad.
A cotton panel never hurt anybody, and I don't think it's black, white, male, female, short or tall. I believe everyone
not
appreciates
having a hole to pull your dick out is initially an issue, and you're like, I just go over the top.
You know what I'd like to do? Oh, I just thought about this. there's kind of code for big dick. No one can say I have a big dick, but there's certain codes that lead people to think different directions. I think I just came up with a good one. So when guys go, oh, listen, once in a while you hear some guy, like, I don't know, you're having drinks, you're with male, female couples or something, like dick size comes up, and you hear a guy get serious, go, most women don't even like a big dick, all right? Most women say they're chafed and they're uncomfortable. Most women, okay, small dick. Okay, keep on. And by the way, it's not the size of the boat, it's the motion. All right, micro cock. Just keep going. You're telling a story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you never want to do that because you're just advertising you have a small dick. I think the boxer brief, I think I'm going to start the story. I'm going to do, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do your story. I'm going to modify it a little bit, and it's going to turn into a big dick story for me. So I'm going to go, I got the new boxer briefs, and I was in a hurry there, and I put them on backwards. And then I've got to take a leak. I'm at work. I'm going for the junk, and I couldn't. There's got no fly. Anyway, I pulled it out the leg. I went with the leg because it's just closer. It's just closer to use the leg. I could have tried to go over the top, but it's so much closer. It's already there. You know what I mean? And people are like, God, Carolla, how big is your cock? That's going halfway down your thigh. And I just tell the story, and we all have a laugh, and everyone walks away going, oh, Carolla's good. Yeah.
I will tell you this, like, wearing woman's underwear does make your dick look big. I mean, it is what it is. I'm just saying they look pretty good. Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So this is in no way connected to getting people back into the theaters. To watch comedy, or is there a thread?
There's no thread.
No thread.
There's no thread.
So
I thought this was a comedy show.
It is. I just didn't know if this was leading somewhere. But these are two separate thoughts.
I'm working out for a movie that's not announced yet. So then that's why I was.
You're working out for a movie.
I was working out.
Okay.
I thought that was enough of a thread to get
the
me
movie.
there.
It hasn't been announced yet.
No.
Okay, but it will be.
Yeah, and it'll come out in the theaters.
Good, and it's a comedy.
That's right.
And it's not one of yours.
It's an R-rated.
Oh, it is one of yours.
You better smoke weed, and you better have a few drinks and come in and have a good time with a lot of people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Yeah. I changed the theme a little. Love those guys. They're in the business of keeping your car on the road. O'Reilly Auto Parts offers friendly, helpful service and the parts knowledge you need to maintain and repair your vehicle. Always use O'Reilly. Always been my neighborhood store that I would go to get all my parts and different pieces for all the cars I've worked on over the years. So whether you're a car aficionado or an auto novice, you'll find the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are knowledgeable, helpful, and best of all, they're friendly. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Do it today. Or you can visit us at O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. That's O'ReillyAuto.com/Adam. Oh, good. Omaha Steaks. Oh, love these guys. Father's Day is coming around. That's right. Let's do something nice for Dad this year. Let's get him some Omaha Steaks. When it comes to Father's Day, some things never change. Dads want steak. A recent survey shows 75% of Americans agree there's no better way to spend Father's Day than grilling with the family. Yeah, it brings everyone together. It's a nice social experiment. And Omaha Steaks are so good. All their stuff is good. From USDA certified tender steaks to burgers and more, Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience, guaranteed to secure your spot as Dad's favorite. That's right. Get them the good stuff. And the burgers are great, too. I just had those. What can I say? It's great, high quality meat, protein. It's the best. It's Omaha Steaks, right, Dawson?
Get ready to smash expectations with new Omaha Steaks Smash Burgers. Visit omahasteaks.com/smash and order the Built for the Grill pack with 16 free smash burgers. That's 16 free Omaha Steaks Smash Burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details.
What was the last, I don't know, was it Borat or something?
God, wasn't that great?
Yeah, it was great. But what was like the last coming out to the theater communal laugh kind
The
of?
Hangover was after that.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I went to the Jennifer Lawrence movie where you see her naked for a full minute. I saw that in the theater.
Yeah, that was good. That was funny.
But isn't it amazing there aren't that many of these to bring up?
Yeah, Bridesmaids 2011. That was great.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think part of it is people go, well, I want to see Mission Impossible on the big screen, but I don't need to see Melissa McCarthy on the big screen. I can watch her at home.
I think we think that's the issue, but the other issue is they're not putting them out that way as much. You know, like Will Ferrell is making movies at Netflix now, and Sandler's making a movie at Netflix now. So those are two guys who used to put out theatrical comedies,
right?
Not doing it anymore, and so that's just pulled the numbers down. You know, Todd Phillips is making The Joker, which is a little more dramatic.
Yeah,
right? So that's not. You know, there aren't many of us out there left.
I think we're due. I think you're on the right track because we're very cyclical.
Yes.
We do things like we wear peg leg jeans, and that lasts 10 minutes. At some point, someone invents bell bottoms, and then everyone wears bell bottoms, and then everyone makes fun of everyone with bell bottoms, and then they go away for 28 years, and then bell bottoms come back,
That's
and
right.
we decide we like them
That's
again.
right. We are cyclical. You're right.
Right. So we're due for like a renaissance.
Yeah.
Like a theater comedy renaissance.
Yes.
How many days is an average shoot for one of your films these days?
35.
That's pretty tight.
Yeah, it is. But having done so much television, I now can look at a scene and say, I need 18 seconds of that shot. I need a minute and a half of that. I need 8 takes of this. It's just much. It's very mathematical, and I know I'm an Indian. I know, but it's a very it's a mathematical equation when I set up how to shoot a scene.
I mean, you're talking like a long day, huh? 12-hour day.
Well, it's a 12-hour day, but you know, with making a movie, you basically press go, and you've got it like a gun to your head and a stopwatch, and you've got to get it done. You've got to get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It is. I mean, I've shot a few movies in, I don't know, 18 days, 20 days.
It's hard.
Something like that.
It's hard.
It's hard.
What are the pitfalls? I'm sitting here with two great directors, two filmmakers.
Well, I don't have the budget that Jay has, but I can tell you stuff happens sort of fluidly. Like all of a sudden you're going to go shoot in a restaurant. The guy just goes, yeah, he's not. He changed his mind. So no more shooting in his restaurant. And you're like, I mean, we hired a lunch truck and just said, we'll have the same conversation standing in front of a lunch truck and get a lunch truck to go to a parking lot in Sun Valley. Also, when you don't really have a budget, sometimes people just don't show up.
Yeah.
Like, just go, where's the guy who's supposed to be playing this part? And the guy, he's not here.
Yeah.
And then
He
you
had to go to work. He had to go to his
"Where is
other
he?"
job.
It's like he didn't come. I mean, we would have that guy, Ozzy, who did the voice over at the beginning. He just called his neighbor in an apartment building and told him to like come out and play.
Hey, you want to be in a movie?
Yeah, play this part. Stuff you don't think of. Like, we shot another movie in a deli, and the deli's like, look, we're open until 10 at night or whatever it is, but you can have the place from 10 until we open at 6 in the morning. So we're like, all right. So they light the outside so it looks like daylight, and then you stock the place with extras and waitresses and whatever. And we got the place at 10 till they opened the next day. We shot all through the night. But what we didn't know is at 10 o'clock, there's a nightclub next to it that starts bumping at 10. That's when they start. The deli ends and the nightclub next door. So through the wall, just hearing the reverberation
hard to be funny during that.
of the bass coming through the wall while we're supposed to be at a deli at noon in, Chatsworth. So it's like a lot of that. I mean, you must have 1,000 of
We
these.
on our first film were shooting at my old fraternity house at Colgate. It's called Beta. And we're trying to shoot a scene, and the ice cream man is just driving back and forth in front of the
What movie is this?
puddle cruiser. And we're like, what the hell's going on, this guy? So we go out and we buy a bunch of ice cream, and he leaves. Next day, we're shooting somewhere else. Here's the ice cream man. He makes us buy more ice cream. And he keeps extorting us for
Yeah.
ice cream.
Yeah.
And eventually
Brilliant.
we're shooting it's pouring rain. We're shooting back in this fraternity house, and this guy parks right in front in the pouring rain, just ringing this bell. And we call the cops on him. He goes, "You get the," and they ran him off.
Yeah, I mean, you shoot on the street, there'll always be some homeless guy just comes and walks and sits down in the middle of your shot, you know? And
Yeah.
at some point, you're like, okay, what's it going to take?
Yeah,
to
the
get
producer's
you-
got to roll a 20, so he goes, "Okay, go and get out."
Yeah, you got to bribe the guy to get
Yeah.
up and sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there has to be a sort of fluidity to it. You also have to kind of know when you got it. Like you can't come back, can't circle back. I mean,
Yeah.
you can pick up things, but it's hard
You've got to
sometimes.
see the movie in your head before you start shooting, and then recognize that you got it, and then move on. Because the sooner you move on, the more time you'll have for the next thing.
Yeah. And TV is even faster, right?
Yeah, it's even faster. You're doing more page count per day, and it's it's fast.
Is it weird walking onto a show that's been established for a while? I mean, you don't do that with a movie. You do
It
with a
is.
TV show.
It is because it's a crew that they feel like we're the crew and we know how this show goes. And
Right.
You have to walk in there the first day and go, "We're putting the camera over here," and often the DP, for no good reason, will be like, "I don't think we should be on the other side." I'm like, "Okay, we're putting it here because that door is the entryway. That first line of the scene is a person walking in that door and speaking. And so that's the way we're going to go." And you stand there and the guy goes, "All right, you're the big dog." Right? You have to big dog somebody.
Right.
And then they go, "Okay, now we're going to just let this guy run the week." And you go, "Okay, now." And then eventually they're like, "Yeah, it's going great." And then they see the cut and it's good and they like you back. But
Yeah.
you do have to come in there and stand tall.
My, I have these bizarre flashbacks, like moments. Like I remember when I was doing, so when we shot The Hammer, home base was here, this studio, this warehouse. People would show up here. We edit it like the next room, but this is where you drop the van off and put the stuff, and we just use this as a home base. And my character was this poor, busted boxing coach, carpenter guy who had a crappy apartment in the valley with his girlfriend. And at some point, they were like set dressing my apartment, and we're in the kitchen, and the set guy put this like $200 stainless steel trash can, like a super high end kick paddle thing. The thing would pop up. It's made of like brushed titanium or something. It was like that was my guy's trash can, and I go, "Where'd this trash can come from?" And he goes, "It's the props, whatever." And I go, my character would have a shitty plastic one with a Ralph's bag in it as a liner, not a $400 trash can. My character couldn't afford a $400 trash can.
Right.
I go, "Where'd you get this?" And he goes, "I've at the shops at the home base. Yeah, that's where I got it." I go, "I ordered a really expensive trash can for my house. Could this be that trash can that also got delivered to the shop?" And he goes, "Nope. This is the trash can for the set dress." And I go, "Okay, I ordered a high-end can for my house. I think this is it. I think you got it. And I think she's like, "Nope, 100% nope." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what the fuck happened." But in fact, we had to have this big argument about it, which is nuts. All this when we did a scene where it was like a Tonight Show, and this guy, the number one show on TV. Then my character's friend had like the number one TV late night show. And at some point they were setting the desk for the late night show, and they just had a random mug, like a paisley colored mug and like an orange mug, like sitting over there. And I said, "This would be the Tonight Show. If they had mugs, they'd have mugs that would say the Tonight Show on them." And he goes, "Well, then we just rented these." And I go, "You rent?" Well, first off, why'd you rent a mug? I got 1,000 mugs. I got mismatching mugs up my ass. And
Yeah.
"Well, these you said in the script needed mugs." I was like, "Yeah, it needs mugs." But have you ever seen a late night show where they just had random coffee mugs like they have the logo on them? And the guy's like, "Well, we don't have that. It's going to take a while now." And I was like, "Okay, first off, I don't know how much you rent mugs for." But secondly, then no mugs, because it'd be stupid, be distracting to have weird colored, unmatching mugs.
Yeah, it's just not how it's done.
But also, why am I saying this? And one other joke I had there, I said, the Mexican guy, I said, it says in the script, he's holding a giant clear bag filled, it says the size of a pillowcase filled with peanuts. And then we get there and we're getting ready to shoot the scene, and the guy's got like a little baggie of peanuts. And I go, what is this? And it's like kind of a prop joke where he holds it up at the end. I go, it says pillowcase size bag, a clear pillowcase size bag of peanuts, a giant bag of peanuts. What? Just give me a little baggie of peanuts? And he goes, peanuts don't come in a pillowcase. Jesus fucking Christ. Really? This is what we're dealing with. And then you always have someone go, look, let's just shoot the scene. Just use them. Who cares with the peanut? I go, no. I need a big bag of peanuts. Yeah. They go, I didn't even know. Is that funny? What's so funny? Just the scene. Just do the scene. You don't need to.
See
what's the big
vision,
deal? I go, go get a clear bag. Go get 20 bags of peanuts. Empty them into the clear bag. That's what we're doing. Fucking hurry. Just do it now. Well, it's going to take a long time, and we're losing the line. I go, okay, well, you fuck this up.
What's your gag writing process, Jay?
That has to happen all the time, right?
It does, and that's why we have prop meetings in advance and go, let me see it.
Yeah.
Let me see it.
Or it's like Spinal Tap with Stonehenge.
Yes.
Where you have to have that meeting. Yes, let me see it.
Let me see it.
Yeah. It's always funny, too, when they don't get the joke, but also they don't want to do the joke, but they just go, it's not funny. Like, who cares?
Right.
And you're like,
right. That's not their job.
Yeah.
Just give me the damn prop. Give me the goddamn peanut prop.
Were there any shows you walked on to where the celebs on the show were not open?
Yeah, when I was doing Arrested Development when I think I was 25, and I walked onto the show, and Jeffrey Tambor, like the older actors are always meaner because you're just this TV director as far as they know,
right?
And so they put you in your place right away.
Yeah,
and he did, it was just little fights about rhythm and how to say it, whatever. And then the next day he learned that I was making movies, and he couldn't have been nicer. And the same thing happened with Jane Lynch and I got into a fight over, she wouldn't put a pause in between these two words, and it was clearly a joke that required a pause in between the two words. And I kept going up and like, Jane, there could be a pause between these two words that might unlock the funny. And she goes, oh yeah, pause. That'd be a good idea. And then she wouldn't do it. And I'd go back and I'm like, if you just threw a tiny pause in here, da da da. And she wouldn't. We did 7-8 takes. It was just this matter of wills. She was like, I'm not. And she said, oh yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it this time. Finally, she does it, and she goes, and I walk over, and she goes, yeah, you're right. It was funnier with the pause. And then we were buddies.
Oh, really?
And then we were buddies. I mean, the older ones test you to start because, there are a lot of random hack TV directors who maybe they don't know the script or know the characters or know the emotion or whatever, and maybe they're not good at it. So they deal with a lot of people who are like, I'm not doing that note that you gave me.
Yeah, Jane Lynch was in my movie, but her people insisted she be uncredited. Which I'm like, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Chip of the cap.
She's super funny. I mean, I worked with her 4 or 5 times after that.
Yeah, she's
fantastic.
And also showed up, at least for me, I wrote a whole bunch of really specific lingo dialogue, like construction stuff for her, which most people can't digest. She showed up ready to go.
Oh yeah, she's a killer. Just don't ask
don't
her
tell her to pause. So sorry, VouchVault, the app. Tell me.
I started an app because what happened was Rotten Tomatoes gave Super Troopers a 35% fresh rating when it came out in the theaters. The audience gave it a 90%.
Yeah,
right? But I was like, who are these critics? And when you get a 35% fresh rating, a lot of people look at that number and go, I'll skip it, right?
Yeah.
And I know, look, we made like $20 million at the box office when Super Troopers came out, but it could have done better. It's because of that damn rating.
Yeah.
And so for 20 years, I was fuming, stewing. How do I get revenge? And eventually I'm like, I'm going to make an app that's a recommendation app so that instead of getting reviews from the reviewers are strangers. Like, you ever walked up to a stranger on the street and said, "Hey, what movie should I see?"
No.
That's what Rotten Tomatoes is, right?
Right.
You'd rather follow me and go, "Oh, I like this Jennifer Lawrence movie," or "I like this movie called Companion." You ever see this?
Oh my God, it's the best movie.
Right, Companion.
That
okay?
movie was
Haven't seen
awesome.
it.
It's
Should
this
see it.
guy Jack
That
Quaid.
movie was the robot woman movie that we all needed.
That's right.
But we all saw the other bootleg ones.
That's
that
right.
one got missed, kind of like Super Trooper. Where, there's some kind of rating system.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Companion's good, right? But so basically, it's like an Instagram of recommendations. You come onto my platform and I go, okay, I like Companion, I like the TV show Studio, I like this cheeseburger restaurant in Burbank, whatever it is. And it's all the things I like. And if everybody is using it, then I go, oh, Adam saw this cool TV show, okay, I'll watch it. And it's sort of it's sort of like when you look on Amazon or Yelp, those reviews are from strangers.
Right.
Or fraudsters, right? And
Right.
so this is meant to be, we follow each other and recommend stuff.
And I think there's an element, like, once in a while, let's see, once in a while, somebody will come here, and they'll, like, walk out of the studio, and they'll look up and they'll see, like, they'll see the John Hyatt poster up hanging on the wall. And they'll go, "Oh, man, I love John Hyatt. He's great, man. I have all his albums." And then I'll go, "Oh, Titus Welliver did that." He came in and went, "Oh, I love John Hyatt." And I'm like, "Oh, music then," because no one loves John Hyatt. I love John Hyatt. Titus Welliver loves John Hyatt. But it's a little inside, like, okay, he gets music. So then if Titus Welliver said to me, "Hey, man, I got this other band you should check out," I would tend to listen to him because I'd go, we have the same basic taste in music,
Yes.
And so then we started talking, and I was like, "Oh, another band no one's ever heard of that I like are the Jayhawks." And you go, "I love the Jayhawks." And I'm like, "Of course you do. No fucking chick I've ever met knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But you do because that's what you like. You know what I mean?" And it would be the same for movies and burgers.
Yes, it is. It is the same. It's like, I like this guy's taste, and so these other things I'm willing to listen to and check out.
Right. Have you ever? And so I go, "Oh, look, I like Defending Your Life," the Albert Brooks movie.
Yeah.
So I know if you like Defending Your Life, then I know what kind of movies you like, and I kind of get it. But I've never. The only time I've gotten really was off was I got dragged to a Phish concert by a guy I really respect and I really like, and he loves Phish, and I just sat there for 3 hours going, "I don't know what the fuck's going on."
Was that the one at the Hollywood Bowl?
Yes.
Okay, so someone called me and was like, "You got to come to Phish," and I'm like, "I'm not coming to Phish." I was a Grateful Dead fan. I went and camped out. I dropped acid. I did all of it. And when Phish came around, I'm like, no, they're just trying to, and they did. They succeeded in getting that culture going. But I'm like, I'm in that camp. I'm not in this, and I'm not going to go start Phish. Like you did.
Right.
Like,
right. Yeah, sorry, I got dragged.
Yeah.
And, first off, when you go to the Phish concert, it's 3 hours of not only having to listen to Phish, but the person next to you sang. Last time I saw them, they played the whole Quadrophenia album. And I'm like, yeah, well, not this time. Not this time. They did the whole Dark Side of the Moon last time. And Walter Becker came out. And I was like, yeah, okay, that was last time. But now, so far, I got nothing. I got nothing of that. I would love a little Quadrophenia. I would love a little Who, but we're not getting any of that. We're just getting this. And this was boring as shit, as long as shit. The movie, there was a movie, I bet. All right, Dawes, you're going to have to look up The Gods Must Be Crazy. The last time I got really burned was there was a movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy, and it was a really popular kind of culty early 80s comedy, and everyone just went, "Oh, you got to check it out. Oh, it's so good." But it was weird. It was like, I don't know if they liked it.
It was like National Geographic film. Yeah.
And I remember after 5 years of people telling me I need to see this movie, I finally rented it. And I sat home and I was like, "This movie's a piece of shit. It's not funny at all. Where did all this come? Where did this come from?" And then I realized certain people like to pick things. It's like Lou Reed. Lou Reed sucks, but people like going, "Oh, Lou Reed, yeah, oh, Lou Reed's awesome." Or Radiohead, you got to check out Radiohead. You know, and they go, you don't even know what you're talking about because you're just scared that I'm going to think you're a dullard. So you pick cool stuff and you keep saying, "I'll bet you the Gods Must Be Crazy" is much higher in the critics' side than the people side. Which
for sure. For sure.
Well, technically right, but not in spirit. 85 with the critics, which is it's a slapstick shitty comedy, low budget, but 84 with the people, which is weird because it sucked.
Yeah, I thought it was terrible.
Good.
I thought it was terrible.
I watched that movie wanting to choke the 200 people who for the last 5 years told me I had to see that movie.
Because you're sitting in that movie and you're watching these dudes with like spears and you're like, I was lied to.
Yes. And they're like running in fast motion like the Keystone Cops and stuff.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is a fucking shitty comedy. Why were people telling me that? Now, like, I remember when Spinal Tap came out, people go, you got to watch Spinal Tap. And I was like, I did. And I fucking love Spinal Tap.
I think that's the greatest movie of all time.
Do you?
Yeah.
I do too.
I don't think there's a better film than that.
I sat here in this man cave in the back the other day, and I don't, several weeks ago or something, I was just like working around here on a Saturday, and Spinal Tap just came on. It was like on the TV, full with commercials and everything. And I just sat down.
Wow.
And I just go, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
And I couldn't turn it off because every scene was like, oh, intravenous de Milo, or, like the movie. I don't know why the review scene.
Yeah.
Where like shark sandwich
Shit
just
sandwich.
said shit sandwich.
Uh-huh.
Like hearing what the reviewers said about their stuff was just, it was all, everything was great.
The Black Album.
Yeah, the Black Album was great. All the cameos were great.
The great scene, one of the greatest scenes in that movie is when they run into that.
In the lobby. The best. I was thinking about this the other day where like the groupies are running down the hall and they're like, all right, lads, get ready for it. Here it comes. And all the chicks just run past them and they go right to Johnny, whoever.
And he's like, where are you playing? Oh, I'm playing the Enormo Dome. I don't know.
The late, great, God, who was that? Johnny Fever from WKRP from Cincinnati. Well, that actor did everything.
Nesmith? No. Nesmith?
No, not that guy. The guy, he played their manager. Right? And the manager from Spinal Tap was doing a thing that we've all seen in Hollywood where first the Spinal Tap guys go to like talk to him and he starts pushing them off. Like, there's...
Yeah.
It's a weird Hollywood thing where like the bouncer guy, like that whatever guy's like 26-year-old black guy, he never knows who you are. You know what I mean? And you want to say hi to this guy who you worked with or did a movie with, but you get the embarrassing shoulder, like, hey, but, and you're like, no. And you can tell that he barely remembers who the other guy are. And he's going, hey, the managers are introducing himself. And then there's that scene ends in this great scene where he goes, yeah, we'd like to hang out, get caught up, but we got to wait in the lobby for the limo.
Right.
It's such a great line. Like, we'd like to stand and talk, but we got to stand 4 feet over and sit down. We got to go over there and sit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so great. Yeah, it starts off with thinking the groupies are coming after him, and then it goes into the guys barely. Then it goes into that great story where, like, when that guy opened for us, we had to apologize for him, which everyone always does. Has some old story about some old comedian where that guy wasn't funny. He opened for me. He wasn't funny at all. They booed. Now he's doing the Enormo Dome.
What are some of your other influences? I mean, that's a great movie. That's a classic.
Best movie of all time.
I think I don't think there's ever been a better comedy than that. No way. Yeah. No way. I mean, I saw Eddie Murphy when I was 15. My dad took me to the Chicago theater. We sat in the back row of the balcony.
The Indian balcony.
Yes. And I was like...
We're talking leather jacket?
It was Delirious. He
wow.
Might have been 19 or whatever he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember going, that's a job? My God. Richard Pryor live, the one in Long Beach, not on the Sunset Strip, is, I think, the greatest of all time. I mean, I obviously love those movies, Animal House, Blues Brothers. I like that John Landis kind of
Blues Brothers is awesome.
Incredible. I rewatched
see a
that.
lot
last
of that
night.
in
The
your work.
music,
Yeah.
the whole Ray Charles scene with the keyboards, and it's incredible.
I met Landis at the Directors Guild of America dinner, and I went up to him and I'm like, "Hey, man, I just want to say, you're the best, and thank you for we kind of borrowed your third act of Animal House and Super Troopers, with this sort of hell ride kind of thing." And he goes, "Thank you for admitting it." No smile, smile, no like good job, no hey I saw it, just thank you for admitting it. I'm like, you're welcome.
We got the lobby scene from. And what is that actor's name who played the manager for Johnny? What's his name? You'll know who he is in it.
It seems like Johnny Fame, right? This
Howard Hessman.
Oh, Howard
That's
Hessman.
the guy.
That's
He
right.
recently passed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we carried him. They had to
so
apologize for him.
perfect.
It's
It's so
perfect.
perfect.
And none of it is over the top. It starts
No.
with the girls, then it goes to he doesn't know, and then it goes like swat his arm down.
Yeah.
Like, it's all, there's like 5 different things going on.
Billy Crystal has a scene with Dana Carvey where they're mimes.
Yes, in the kitchen.
And Billy Crystal's like, mime is money. Mime is money.
Right. It's all great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
But the songs are great too.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah.
incredible. They played the Beacon Theater. The Spinal Tap guys came and played.
What year?
Had to be 92 or 93. And so Kevin Heffernan, who played Farva in the movies, he and I were like, we're going. So we dress like basically rock and rollers. We put on multiple pairs of bike shorts and stuff them. We put like tank tops, wigs,
Women's underwear.
yeah.
Absorbent
And we
cotton
show
panels.
up. We're like, it's going to be like Rocky Horror. We're the
right.
only 2 guys dressed like that.
Really?
And people are like, what band are you in? We're like, I don't know.
I gotta tell you, Blues Traveler played like the Irvine whatever place 3 years ago, and John Popper invited me up on stage to do Big Bottoms.
Yeah.
With him.
Wow.
Thrill.
Wow.
A thrill of a lifetime.
Wow.
Covering Big Bottoms.
Talk
with
about bun cakes, my girls got them.
Yes. The greatest line of that is he goes, well, a couple things. He goes, I met her on Monday. 'Twas my lucky. He says, 'twas.
Yeah.
'Twas my lucky bun day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love her each weekday, each velvety cheek day. You know?
Yeah.
That whole thing is great. I don't know why. It's there's certain little weird lines in those songs that always make when he goes when he's singing about hellhole, he goes, hellhole, you know where you stand in a hellhole.
That's right.
Folks lend a hand in folks lend a hand in a hellhole. I don't know why hellhole always makes people laugh. Yeah. Oh, got to sing. Yeah, and I rehearsed, man.
I bet.
Yeah.
I mean,
was like,
you don't want to get up there and
you don't
wing
get up
it.
there cold and screw up Big Bond. There may be a tape on someone's computer of that. I'll tell you what. You can look for that, Dawson. We'll take a quick break, and we'll do some news right after this. Simply Safe. Well, you want to feel safe when you're at home. And that's what it's all about. Traditional security systems only take action after someone has already broken in. That's too late. Simply Safe is setting the new standard in home security. Simply Safe's Active Guard outdoor protection can help prevent break-ins before they happen. That's right, before the break-in happens. With AI-powered cameras backed by live professional monitoring, well, those agents monitor your property and they will detect any suspicious activity. Monitoring plans start affordably at around $1 a day, so there is no more excuses. These guys are great. We all use them here, and they've all been, well, they've been with us since the beginning. Hell, before Dawson got his house, he had Simply Safe in his apartment. He took his Simply Safe stuff with him, and now it's in his house. Am I right, Dawson?
You can get 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free at simplysafe.com/Adam. Just head to simplysafe.com/Adam to claim your discount and make sure your home is safe this year. Keep your home, your family, and your peace of mind protected with Simply Safe. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Stream all the movies and shows you love for free on Pluto TV.
Say what now? Showtime.
That means drama is free with heart-wrenching stories from Love and Basketball, Power, and Greenleaf.
In this family, we live by the Spirit.
And laughter is free with gut-busting comedies like Key and Peele, The Neighborhood, Everybody Hates Chris, and Boomerang. Watch all the hits, all for free, from all your favorite devices.
Oh my God, I love it!
Feel the free Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.
It's time to check Adam's voicemail.
Hey, Adam Carolla, just a regular blue-collar guy here, just saying thank you for calling out all the crybaby and the nonsense. I literally was losing my mind, and people like you are helping all the regular guys who are quiet, just doing their own thing. Appreciate it. See ya.
You can leave us a message at 888-634-1744.
All right, we got the VouchVault. You go to VouchVault.com.
Yeah.
Is that where we go to check out the
It's
app?
in the App Store, no?
Well, it's in the App Store, but we're doing like a crowdfunding thing for the app. It's like a second round of financing. So we're trying to raise like $1 million. I crowdfunded Super Troopers 2 years ago. Back then, though, if you donated, you couldn't get a piece of the financial action. That movie made money, and basically we gave them T-shirts and whatever.
Right.
This time now they've changed the rules. So if you invest in this crowdfunding VouchVault, you can when we eventually sell it, you'll get a profit.
Oh, so you can buy into it.
Yeah, you can buy into
versus
it.
Get a producer's credit and a T-shirt.
I mean, we're giving away if you put a certain amount of money, you can have dinner with me, or chug a beer against me, or play golf against me.
Foot race.
Like there's things you can do, you know. But it's at VouchVault.com. You just you can put $100 in. That's
It's a great idea.
Yeah,
it really is. All right, I think we found that. Did you find that clip? So.
I love each weekday, each velvety cheap day. You know what I mean. My love comes loaded and it's in my sights.
I think my son's filming this.
Big bottle, talk about big bottle.
You look like you're at a Christmas recital. You're wearing the nicest shirt you got.
The only thing you really need to know before doing that song is it's bum cakes, then it's mud flaps.
Bum cakes and mud flaps, that's right. I started singing, I think.
My baby's hitting like a fresh tuxedo. I'd like to see her with my big torpedo. Big bottle, talk about going cakes in my girl's bottle. Big bottle, drive me out of my mind. I'm gonna leave this behind.
Wow. You're having a blast, Carolla.
Oh, what a dream.
How did he know you wanted to do that?
Yeah. I don't know. He just said John's a friend, and I said, oh, if you're out, I'll come out and see you guys and hang out, because he's the greatest guy in the world. Just John Popper from Blues Brothers. They're fun. He's fun. He's got a fun sense of humor and stuff. So I always knew he had always had a great sense of humor, and so he said, well, if you're coming out, get there early, and then we'll sing Big Bottoms. I was like, all right.
Why not?
All right. What do you got in the news?
Oh, first up, former President Joe Biden diagnosed with aggressive form of prostate cancer. The cancer has metastasized to the bone, according to the former president's personal office.
It's weird. Weird news. I mean, not weird news, sad news, but also sort of like people are questioning the timing because all this stuff's coming out, and then people are like, is this a distraction, or what did you learn about this? I mean, listen, here's the problem in general. Kids, are you listening? The problem with lying is that once you've established as a liar, then whenever you say something, people go, I don't know. Like, it's a personal thing, too. Like, I know people, I just know people who don't lie, and then I know people who do lie. And so when you're on the people who does lie list, and then they call you and they go, oh, man, I can't make it to dinner tonight because I have laryngitis. You go, oh, okay. And then you hang up the phone, and then somebody goes, Tim has laryngitis? And you go, well, we don't know. We don't know because he's on the liar. Right. He's on the liar list. Uh-huh. If you never get on the liar list, then whatever you say is just, I always got prostate cancer. Joe Biden lies and has been lying the entire fucking time. So now everyone's sort of like, well, he's got prostate cancer, I guess, but do we know, or does he know, or when did he know? He says he just found out, but I probably found, because he lies. And this is what you'll do. You'll get on the liars list. Once in a while, I get accused of lying, and I'm like, I always go like, fuck you, I never did anything to get on your liars list.
You get accused of lying?
Well, first off, women think everyone lies. Women are like Middle Eastern people. They just assume everyone's lying. You know what I mean? Like all the time. And it's like, that's not part of our culture. Like, we don't haggle. Like, that's not how we do it. You know what I mean? So, like, I think women think people lie more than men think people lie.
Because women are lied to get in their pants?
I think women in general, women deal in feelings more than men. And so, well, first off, they're moms. So it starts off with you got to finish your broccolini because there's kids in Africa who wanted this broccolini, but they don't. Okay, they start lying early. Start lying with kids, about stuff. And then kids they don't brush their teeth, but they wet the toothbrush and put it back. And then the mom feels the toothbrush, but then she smells it. Moms are little Sherlock Holmes running around the house.
Lie detectors.
They're lie detectors. Yeah. So they're lie merchants. Like, they ship and receive lying. That's not part of my world. Like, I'm friends with Dr. Drew. Dr. Drew doesn't lie. I never lie to him. Like, we just have conversations. But we don't tell people their haircuts look good when they look like shit. We don't tell them.
Yeah, you just say nothing.
Yeah, say nothing. Women tell you how good they look or how they packed on 20 pounds, but it looks good on them, but it doesn't look good on them. Like, they're feelings merchants, and when you're feelings merchants, you have to lie all the time.
But you think that translates into them thinking that men are liars? Is that what you said? You said
whatever you deal with, you then graft on to humanity.
You shouldn't lie. That's the bottom line.
You shouldn't.
There's a whole lot of lying that went on in the Democratic side, and there's a whole lot of lying on this Republican guy. And I'm like,
everyone lies.
Everything he says, I'm like, it might be a lie.
Oh, no. Trump lies, but he lies like Commander McBragg.
What?
Oh, you guys. Find the opening of Commander McBragg. There was a cartoon from the 60s or 70s called Commander. Had a good tune. No, the difference between like Biden and Trump is Biden, like when someone goes, Trump, how's your golf game? He goes, I'm a scratch golfer. Right. People go, yeah, right. He's 20 handicap or whatever. Biden is not supposed to be that guy. Biden is supposed to be that guy. He wasn't supposed to be that guy. And he turned out to be that guy as well.
Disappointing.
It's a good theme. Commander McBragg. We'll play you the beginning of it.
Looks like the gods must be crazy.
Commander McBragg. Your hair will curl in the world of McBragg. He fights monsters galore, and then asks for still more. For so says the brag of McBragg. When on the hill the Marines plant a flag, they may be led by Commander McBragg. With a cannon in hand, he can beat any band. For so says the brag of McBragg. Fencing and fighting and round table knighting and slaying of dragons too.
He would always make up stories about victory and how great he was.
I get it.
This is a good example of our president. You're right.
His name is Commander McBragg, but everyone saw him coming. Like they'd go, "It's Commander McBragg."
Well, Commander McBiden has cancer now.
That would be a good name for Trump, Commander McBragg. Although I think I'm the only person who get the reference. But he would start at the beginning. At the beginning of every episode, he'd be like sitting in his office, smoking his pipe, talking to his manservant.
I remember this.
And he'd go, "Did I ever tell you the time I saved humanity with one hand tied behind my back?" And his little manservant would go, "Quite, Commander McBragg." Like it was like it was just a stupid. He was a braggart.
Yes,
is what it was. But
I can't believe I missed that one.
You missed Commander McBragg.
Never saw it.
I think
I would have loved it.
I love the theme song.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
All right, next up, New York City's #1 recidivist just can't stop stealing, even after a mind-boggling 134 arrests. Yeah, this guy's name is Harold Gooding.
Okay, here's the whole thing. At a certain point, society. Here's my whole thing. Society at a certain point is just like a society. Like we just don't have enough individual time for everybody all the time. Like once you get arrested more than 50 times, we just got to put you away.
Yeah.
And we go like no hard feelings, but you understand there is a society.
Yeah.
We're trying to run it. We can't use all our resources on you.
134, my God.
Yeah. The story is really wacky. Like this guy has been in and out of jail, prison since 2000. It's the story that I'm getting is just that he's a crack addict and that his whole deal is doing small shoplifting because there's no real repercussions for it for just small shoplifting. So he goes, gets busted, gets out the next day, gets busted again, gets some crack, gets busted, goes back in, goes back out, and that's been his life since 2001.
Feels like it would be cheaper as a society if we just gave him the crack.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give this guy crack, then he doesn't have to steal. It would. But
ultimately,
it wouldn't be fun. Yeah, the cops
It's not a
wouldn't have any
great
fun.
social program. I agree.
I don't
I
know.
agree.
I would.
In this case, he just
In
can't
this
stop.
case,
He can't
yeah.
stop.
I would. We need some sort of place. I mean, we talk about it a lot, like Devil's Island for Papillon, like this is a place to put people. Are like, look, you can go, you can make your own crack or not, but whatever it is, we can't have you in our society.
Normal society, yeah. You start recognizing. I mean, they have done something like that in Portugal. I believe they had addicts. You know, they reduced street crime completely because everybody just can get their dope at a hospital. So,
well, yeah, but see, I used to do, I would do a stand-up bit on this thing every once in a while, which is an example. I always say, look, other countries, like I grew up with kind of hippie progressive mom.
Yeah.
And hippie progressives, they love Europe. You know, and they always do this weird thing. Like in Europe, sexuality, women walk around topless. They never get groped. It's fine. The kids drink wine with dinner when they're 7. You know, it's all. Europe is always some utopia, especially when you lived in the United States was sort of ugly American shit, and Europe was always evolved. You know, and I mean, there's something to that. You know, they go, well, people, they'll have a siesta at noon. They don't work till they die. They take long summers off and they enjoy the food and the outdoors and whatever. And so it was always like in Europe. And so they'd always do this thing where they go, in Europe, you know, in Strudeldorf, they've legalized prostitution. And now drug abuse has gone down, and the women all go to a clinic and get tested and get certified, and then they pay taxes on it. It's like this big win-win-win. Or they hand out clean needles, and they have safe zones to shoot in. And I go, and I'm generally like, I used to always be like, yeah, right, yeah, we could do what they do in Europe. Europe, they don't have animals. We're animals in the United States. We're animals. There's bees, there's honeybees, and there's Africanized killer bees. We're like killer bees. And so when we go, Well, San Francisco's always our little European experiment. Like, okay, they're going to have judgment-free injection zones over there, and you can get clean needles out of a vending machine, and it's like 10 seconds later, total shit show.
As it turns
it's a
out,
total shit show because we're animals.
It's not working.
They're not animals over there. They can work it out over there. There needs, even amongst that, there needs to be a certain amount of compliance. You know what? We can't have a pizza delivery robot go down the street without someone picking it up and chucking it in a lake. You know what I mean? Like, we can't have nice things because we're animals. We just need zip ties and pepper spray because we're fucking animals. They can't do it. They can do it in Strudeldorf. Like, it works over there. I get it. That ain't San Francisco.
Right.
It always turns into a shit show immediately.
I mean, Portland, Oregon became a very dangerous place once they legalized these hard drugs.
Right. What they did, so Portland, Oregon is just implemented what they do in Strudeldorf, which my mom always wanted imported here. Like, why don't they just do what they do over there in Europe? It works out perfectly. And I'm like, we have Africanized killer bees here. We're fucking animals. We're horrible.
We are the
that
Africanized
will
killer
work
bees.
if you have honeybees. Honeybees could do this. We don't have that here. So unfortunately, because I like that idea too.
Yeah.
Except for we can't pull it off. It just turns into Portland.
So what's this guy's just going to keep on stealing? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. He's doing a stint because he did a 1 to 3 year sentence for attempted burglary conviction. He's got like major first degree robbery, 10 years in 2001. But as of now, he's a free man. So he can still steal.
Indians aren't into that much crime, are they?
It's not our main business, no.
I have
a little
guy
pickpocketing, maybe.
Yeah.
A little pickpocket.
You know, I stole pickpocketed a rubber shark at Disneyland.
Oh, really?
When I was 3 or 4, whatever it was.
With your foot speed, I'd imagine you'd be grabbing a lot of stuff.
You'd think, right? And I went back to the hotel and foolishly started playing with that shark in front of my parents. And my mom's like, "Did you buy that for him?" And of course, my dad didn't buy it for me. He would have. If I just asked, he would have bought it. And my mom made me go down and give the shark back, and I'm weeping. And that was enough to turn me away from crime.
Yeah, I have a weird recollection of like stealing a shrunken head or something at a Disneyland too, because that stuff was so tantalizing when you were a kid. Those tchotchkes, the stuffed animals, or the shark, or the shrunken head, or whatever.
Eye level.
And it was also
eye level.
So out of reach for my family financially, which is weird because it's a plastic tchotchke, you know, like why would you not consider buying this? But it wasn't. But yes, I remember doing that too. And I did tell my mom once I stole like some batteries or something from the Save-On, and she said the same thing. She goes, we're gonna go return those now. And then I bullshitted her and told her I'd made it up or something. She was too lazy to do it anyway. But that was her. I found $50 on the ground of the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey. $50 bill, and my mom said, "We're turning into Lost and Found." Oh my God! And I said, It's a $50 bill. First, it's more money than I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then secondly, who claims a bill? It's not a wallet. She's like, "We're turning it in." And we turned it in.
It's the right way to teach a child. I agree. On reflection, the person you turned it into got $50 richer.
The woman who lost the $50 bill, showed up to our house a week later.
You got to be kidding me.
And gave you 100.
Heavy set woman of color. Said that $50, I'm a cleaning maid. I dropped that bill. I couldn't believe they had it. Went to check it. Went to Lost and Found, got the $50 bill. Came to my house. Said, "I got a $10 reward for you." Fucking mom made me split it with my sister.
Oh my God.
I was like, "Hey, bitch, give her $5 out of your wallet." She didn't have money either, but I mean, this is my money. This is my found the money.
The hero's reward.
Yeah, this is my VIG.
I love that story.
But I returned a bill, and a woman claimed a bill and came to my house and gave me a reward. That was a different America. That was an America before the bees were Africanized and kill her. Although she may have been a little Africanized. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. All right.
Hey, next up, scientists turn lead into gold for the first time, but only for a split second.
Oh.
Yeah, and a breakthrough that make medieval alchemists envious. Scientists at Europe's Large Hadron Collider have successfully transformed lead into gold.
You know, I don't know. I guess we use gold for a lot of stuff. The thing that's funny is gold is soft and doesn't really have an industrial application, whereas diamonds are great. Yeah. Diamonds are great for cutting stone and stuff like that. Diamonds have tons of application.
Yeah.
What a gold. They used to fill teeth.
Gold is a good conductor.
It's a conductor.
Yeah, audio as well.
And audio, but I don't feel like we're probably done with
Electronic
gold.
components have some, I think they have some gold in it.
Yeah. I'm just saying I feel like we can live without gold at this point, but diamonds, tons of industrial stuff.
I mean, gold is just jewelry, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's like people who wear jewelry, they like gold.
I don't trust people that like gold.
Guys, you're missing the whole story, all right? They turned lead atoms into gold.
Oh,
you
I
guys
see.
are just fixated on gold, but the fact that they changed atoms into now for milliseconds, and just picograms they've made, and it goes right back to gold. But somehow, some way, they spin these atoms around and they turn to gold.
I'm done being impressed with science because it's so far out of my realm
Darn
at this point.
I thought
that
you'd be pumped.
I'm done. After what's going on in outer space and like all the stuff, it's so far. I'll tell you something. You ever talk to somebody who like has no grasp on what you're saying at all, so they can't really be impressed by it?
Yeah.
Like, I do a lot of building stuff that's impressive, but you kind of would have to know a little bit about building to be impressed. If you know nothing about building, that's just like talking to a 5-year-old.
Sure.
And they don't have any
I hear you
answer
talking
to it.
about saws and hammers and screws,
Right.
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
I heard you talking
plywood.
earlier when I was in
Yeah.
the waiting room talking about some kind of jackhammer, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but that's what you have when you talk to people. Like, if you talk to a dude who's got a rudimentary understanding of building, like I put a bar basically under my swimming pool at my house and put portholes and stuff like that. And I was at a...
I mean, like a alcohol bar?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I was at a lunch, and I was like with a couple of ladies and this guy, and the ladies were like, "Yeah, I don't know," and the guy was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, well, I drilled. Well, how'd you do the portholes? How'd you design into the side of the pool and all this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he goes, "Oh my God, yeah, I just did my pool, but how'd you do it?" And all of a sudden, I was like, "Why are you so interested?" And I realized he had some understanding of it, and thus was impressed versus, you know, a native just going like, all right, the rocket goes in the sky and the people come down. Like, I don't even know what to do with it. So a little like rudimentary baseline understanding actually makes you appreciate things more.
I think that, like, you know, I always think, like, what if I were dropped in, like, on an island with like shipwrecked, right? You're like, I couldn't invent the cell phone. I wouldn't know how to like filter water. Like, this is a moment right now where I could learn a whole bunch of important things in the event that happens, and yet I'm not doing it.
Yeah. So a second language, you could learn to play the harp. Like, it's crazy how much shit I don't
learn how to build a shelter out of palm leaves. Like, I could
figure
learn
it
that
out.
today, and then when I get there, I'd be like, I am the guy, and I'd be the king of the island.
Well,
yeah,
let me
unless
tell-
I was on the island, then you'd just be making snuff films.
I guess I couldn't build a camera. So, I mean,
Oh, you're right.
That's right.
I hope everyone's got a good memory.
Look, the researchers, what they did, instead of smashing the atoms right at each other, they made them just miss each other. And researchers explained that when this happens, powerful electromagnetic fields around the atoms can cause them to change into different elements.
Again, it's so far beyond
Okay.
my pay grade.
Well, what I'm saying is the atoms are going around in a circle opposite ways, and then they graze them right by each other.
I know it.
And they turn gold.
And because they're going so fast, there's so much momentum that for some reason, they will change into the next. Because if you look at the periodic table, lead is like right there under gold. So,
it is.
Yes. So if you change the electrons in the atoms, it will turn to gold, but only for some milliseconds.
Yeah. See.
When they can use that machine to make my dick bigger, then I'll be listening.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, just an inch and a half.
I had to piss the other day. I used the leg because it was just closer. I mean, it was halfway down my thigh, but my cock was there already.
How big is Carolla's dick?
I just use the leg. All right, Jay, let's give you a plug. VouchVault app is where we can go. We're crowdfunding, but you're in on it. You get a taste.
That's right. VouchVault.com, and you can donate. It's called Reserve at this point. You donate $100 or more, and you can be part of the company.
And Super Troopers 3 where's that at?
We're discussing it.
We're not
it's in discussion.
We're not shooting yet.
No.
All right.
I'm also at the Mic Drop Comedy Club in Dallas this weekend.
You are?
Friday
cool.
and Saturday.
You doing stand-up there?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember you telling me before about that was in your past, but I didn't know you were...
No, I've been doing... I tour quite a bit.
Oh, really?
Quite a bit, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you just do straight stand-up?
Yeah, they're basically like I write jokes and insert them into stories. It's basically just stories and stories and stories with jokes built into them. Most of them are true.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in Bellflower doing stand-up. That'll be this Saturday, doing 2 shows there, and then Tacoma, and then Spokane. So you can go to AdamCarolla.com for all that. Where do we go? Do we go to find out your schedule? Touring schedule.
You go to my Instagram and click the link. It's there.
Go there.
Yeah.
All right. So, till next time, I'm for Jay and Mayhem saying, Mahala.